Let's compare the Samsung S26 versus iPhone 17 and see which one should you get. Over here I have the new Samsung S26 in this fully white color, which looks absolutely stunning. And over here the iPhone 17 in this fully black version, which also looks absolutely great. When compared side by side, I see just how premium both of these phones look like. So on both phones we get a glass back and also aluminium sides as well. And the new camera designs as well. First, when it comes to the price, there's actually a bit of price difference between these phones. So at the time of filming, the S26 can be had for around $900 if you can't get any good deals on it, while the iPhone 17 around $800. By the way, also, if you perhaps are looking to get the new S26 in the description, I'll include a special discount link that you can follow and get it for absolutely insane price if you also perhaps trade in your old device. So this is directly from the Samsung official website. Also, if you order it in the next following 2 weeks, you're also getting additional credits, again by simply following that special link. So yeah, if you can get this phone for around this price, then obviously it's a no-brainer. When it comes to design and build quality, both these phones are absolutely superb. So we get a full glass back on both of the phones. So it's kind of matte on both of them, so it's not reflective and it doesn't attract any fingerprints at all. So very good finish overall on the back. So on the sides we have full aluminium build quality, also very nice metal buttons on both. Also we have the camera control button on the iPhone, versus we do not have such thing on the Samsung. On the top, as see, you have the microphone there on the S26 on this side. So you see, this is what they look like. On both the phones we also get Type-C charging. When it comes to the thickness, however, the Samsung is slightly thinner at 7.2 millimeters, while the iPhone is at 8 millimeters. So actually like a notable difference. And also when it comes to weight, the Samsung also is 10 grams less heavier than the iPhone. When you hold them and use them, both are actually absolutely superb, very nice compact phones. And which feels the best, really it's hard to decide. So again, definitely a slimmer phone, but yeah, still the iPhone is absolutely superb when you simply hold in hand, use it, touch every day for everyday tasks. Really, you really can't beat any of these phones when it comes to the compact feel and just how nice it is to use them. When it comes to displays, both these phones have also received very nice upgrades this year, especially the iPhone. So the iPhone 16 obviously had kind of like pathetic display, so this is like huge change, at least for iPhones. So we get 6.3-inch displays on both, and both are at 120 Hz, and we get 3000 nits on the iPhone 17 brightness and 2600 on the Samsung. In real life, when it comes to brightness outdoors, it's almost impossible to tell them apart. They feel the same to me when it comes to brightness. Also, we get slightly larger resolution on the iPhone as well. But yeah, when it comes to display quality, both of these phones are absolutely amazing. So you see just how vibrant each is over here. Again, also displays are incredibly smooth on both these phones due to the 120 Hz refresh rate. However, if I had to pick the winner when it comes to the display, I would say the Samsung definitely wins. So see, actually we do not have any stupid cutouts like this, so see how absolutely massive this thing is. Also see the corners on the iPhone are much more rounded, so you do not simply get as much screen real estate. Also I feel that the colors on the Samsung also are slightly more punchier and more vibrant. At least I like that. So yeah, also in the settings, if you go in the settings, you can also customize how your display even will feel, how it will look like, more natural colors, more vivid colors, adjust white balance, also increase the vividness of the display just as you need. On the iPhone we can't do any of these things. So again, when it comes to displays, for everyday usage, I think that Samsung actually wins here. When it comes to the speakers, this is however where I prefer the iPhone over the Samsung, as I feel the sound definitely is more richer, more fuller, and it simply has got more depth to it. So it simply sounds nicer. So both of them have got dual stereo speakers, so one over here, another here, and on the Samsung is also one speaker here, another here. But yeah, if you listen side by side, you can definitely tell that the speakers are better on the iPhone. However, the speakers on the S26 still are actually very good. For example, if you compare the S26 versus past S25, which I also have, the speakers definitely are much better compared to the past S25. When it comes to performance, this is also where the Samsung actually takes the lead. As you see, when it comes to benchmark, this is significantly more powerful phone, so a bit over 20% when it comes to the CPU horsepower. Also on this phone, we are getting 12 GB of RAM versus only 8 GB of RAM on the iPhone as well. So yeah, this is pretty much the most powerful phone in the world at the moment, so you see, it pretty much beats everything else. However, when it comes to basic everyday tasks, I would say both phones are absolutely excellent, and you'll be very satisfied with either of them. And everything feels very smooth, very fluid on both the phones, and everything opens pretty much instantly on both the phones. So again, incredibly smooth phones overall, and yeah, when it comes to the smoothness and just how nice they feel, both of them are actually excellent. However, when it comes to the advantage for the Samsung, I would say the animations are much snappier and much better feeling, as everything is pretty much instant on the Samsung. When you scroll something, open, switch, it's instant phone. Versus on this one, there is extra layer of animations over everything that are kind of very slowed down, and so you see when you scroll, it's like a slower phone to interact and do something. So again, if you want the most rapid phone, this is, yeah, better feeling indeed. And let's test them side by side. So you see I have all my background apps closed here. See, actually the iPhone a bit faster, that's cool. Okay, so see, as you see, when it comes to the performance, both of these phones are absolutely excellent. In some tasks, maybe the S26 feels faster. In some tasks, even the iPhone was able to open it faster. But yeah, when it comes to power, you really can't go wrong with either of the phones. When it comes to software and what you can actually do with both the phones, I would say if you are more advanced user who also uses his phone a lot for work, maybe some kind of content creation, this is where the Samsung will be much better, as it's simply more advanced. It's not as limited as iPhone. So in general, iPhones are meant more for more basic users. So if you only use your phone maybe for calls, texts, maybe taking some photos, browsing internet, then this is absolutely a very good phone and very reliable as well. But yeah, if you want to basically maybe do something on the phone itself, also maybe use it even as a mini PC, multitask a lot, do like a bunch of like content creation with this one, upload somewhere something, process, this is far advanced phone. Also, when it comes to all the new AI features we can get on phones these days, I would say the iPhone is maybe like 5 years behind everyone else. So also, for example, the Siri assistant on the iPhone, it barely ever works. It can't really do like basic tasks compared to what this phone can do. And again, all the stuff is so much more advanced and actually works. On the iPhone, when it comes to all the AI tasks, pretty much everything is half broken and it barely ever works. So again, if you care about the AI stuff, this is like a no-brainer. This is like 100 times better than the iPhone at the current state. I hope with some time iPhone can actually catch up, but at the time of filming, there is simply no competition between these two. Also, for example, on iPhone, we still do not have any like good reliable way how to go back in any screen. So you see, for example, how do you go back here? There is no back button, or if you swipe like this, you can't go back. You have to actually find in each app kind of like different way how to go back. And sometimes it's very hard to understand basically how to go back, how to navigate. So again, such basic thing, again, is still very limited on this phone, in my opinion. Also, basic things such as maybe like a keyboard as well is much worse than on the Android. For example, the typing experience isn't very as good, I would say. Also, it makes more mistakes. Editing the text is worse. We do not have, for example, any number row here. Or also, there is no clipboard basically on the keyboard here as well. Versus everything on this is absolutely great. The keyboard is great. It's accurate. Number row. Also, we have clipboard. So again, basic tasks like going back in anywhere. So you see, you simply enter here, you go back. So this button or the navigation from this side, you pull it. So again, it works just absolutely great. Versus this one, yeah, it simply does your head in sometimes. For example, if you want to pause the video here, I have made a quick list of things that I actually do not like about the iPhone software in general. Next, when it comes to cameras, I would say the cameras on both phones are actually very decent. Advantage for the S26 is we also get a telephoto lens, so you can actually zoom in quite far with this lens. On the iPhone we get only the main lens plus also ultrawide, so no telephoto lens on this one. When it comes to sensor size, for the sensors, as you see, they are pretty much identical on both. Except again, yeah, the S26 has got telephoto lens as well, and also it can record in 8K resolution as well, versus this one only in 4K. When it comes to the picture and also video quality, both the phones are actually very capable. I will show you some samples later. But yeah, for example, from the main camera, so if you simply take a quick picture, I see there isn't much of a difference between them. Maybe slightly different color science on the iPhone in this case. Also, what I like a bit better about the iPhone is the selfie camera on it compared to the Samsung. So in my opinion, for example, for some kind of video calls, this definitely looks slightly better, for example, for WhatsApp or whatever you use for your calls. Also, what I like about the iPhone is the ultra-wide camera as well. So you see it's actually slightly wider at 0.5x. So you can essentially stuff in more basically in the camera. So you see on this one we have 0.6x here, so not as wide. Also, if you're wondering if lack of telephoto lens on the iPhone is a deal breaker, then really, unless you actually plan to zoom in very far away, the iPhone actually still is able to deliver actually fairly good results. So you see, for example, if we zoom in 10 times on both, so we are using the telephoto obviously on the Samsung versus the main camera on the iPhone. There is definitely more detail from the Samsung since it's using the telephoto, but it's still actually usable. For example, also if we switch to something like 5x, then the difference actually you see isn't even much. So you see, actually the iPhone is still very good at, for example, 5x. When it comes to video recording quality, this is still where I feel the iPhone is slightly better when it comes to the exposure and how the video looks straight outside the camera. So if you simply press start record and record the video. Where I think the Samsung has got clear advantage, however, over iPhone is camera software and basically what you can actually do in the video recording mode. Also, we obviously have the Pro video mode on the Samsung as well, where you can customize everything just as you need. Also, you have very good audio controls here just for everything. So it really feels like professional camera that you are using. Also, we have a log recording here as well, so we can record in log. On the base iPhone, we can't do that, but on this one we can obviously. if you need that. Also, we have these new LUT previews here as well this year on the Samsung. Also, I find that the autofocus is also noticeably better on the Samsung compared to the iPhone, so it's much faster and also a bit more reliable as well. And next, let's check out some camera samples from both the phones. And also let's zoom in, so 3 times on the S26 and also 3 times on the iPhone 17. So let's check for stabilization as I'm walking. Now let's switch to ultra wide now. Let's zoom in 3 times. So 3 times on both. Let's zoom all the way in on the iPhone, so we can zoom in only up to 6 times. Let's zoom in 6 times also on the S26. Okay, and back to the main camera. Let's zoom in 2 times. 2 times zoom. Let's zoom in 3 times on both. So 3 times zoom on both phones. And on the iPhone we can zoom in up to only 6 times. Also we have 6 times now on the S26. And let's zoom in all the way in, so we can zoom in up to 15 times on the S26. And let's switch to the ultra wide. So we have the ultra wide now. And we are back to the main camera. And here I have a few samples in the same setup. Previously I was recording with my Google Pixel phone, so I can even compare how the Pixel compares to these two as well. And finally, when it comes to battery life and charging, as you see, the Samsung actually has got slightly larger battery than the iPhone, even though it's actually a slimmer phone. So yep, a slimmer phone, but actually slightly larger battery inside than on the iPhone. But when it comes to the actual battery runtime, so far from what I'm seeing, there doesn't appear to be any difference whatsoever. So even though this has got slightly larger battery life, the battery life seems so far identical both when it comes to standby time and also when you are doing something with the phone. So which is kind of cool, because for example the past Samsung S25, if I compare to my iPhone 17 here, the battery life actually wasn't as good as on the iPhone. So they have made this phone not only slightly larger in the battery, so we get so on this 25 we had 4000 mAh battery, on this one 4300. So not only the battery capacity is larger on this new guy, but also the efficiency of the CPU also is better as well. So it simply lasts longer than the past S25, and at the time of filming, at least from what I'm seeing, the battery life appears pretty much identical on both. When it comes to charging speeds, this is, I think, where the Samsung actually is quite pathetic, considering it's a flagship phone and it costs actually quite a lot of money. So we get only 25 watts of wired speeds and 15 watts of wireless. On the iPhone, we get up to 40 watts of wired speeds and 25 wireless. Also on the iPhone, we are getting MagSafe, so we can actually use like MagSafe chargers, MagSafe accessories. On the Samsung, they still haven't actually included the magnets inside the back of it, so that's a bit ridiculous in my opinion. And overall, which phone should you get? The new Samsung S26 or the iPhone 17? So I guess it all depends on your individual needs. If you are more like a basic user, and especially someone who maybe already has used iPhone and is very used to the system, absolutely love it, then this is actually absolutely huge upgrade over the past iPhone 16, and the total package, I think it's absolutely great phone if you like the iOS. So I mean, it's absolutely great for the money you're paying, and compared to the previous base iPhones, this is absolutely insane upgrade. So you can safely purchase this phone, it's absolutely great. But yeah, if you are more advanced user and need all the latest and best features and find the iPhone a bit too limiting for you, then this is obviously the obvious choice. Also, the phone is going to be faster, more capable. Also, all the AI stuff you care about, if you care about that stuff, also runs much better over here. And also oftentimes you can get these phones for absolutely insane price. So yeah, if perhaps you also are looking to get the S26, so make sure to check out those special discount links I'll include in the description. If you can get it for similar price to this one, then of course this phone is totally unbeatable. Excellent build quality, yeah, also the new look, I mean, it looks absolutely fantastic, especially in this white, at least I like it. Also the display is excellent, excellent speakers, cameras are also very decent, so as a total package, yeah, really can't be beaten. Okay, good luck.